You know what this means. Got to get the race car out. RV is finally out of the way here. It takes up so much of the shop. Oh my gosh, it's insane. But taking it to go get all its fluids filled up, propane filled up, getting ready to go testing. First, got to go to the dyno tomorrow. Whenever I post this, I don't know, but yeah, buddy. All loaded up, ready to go to the dyno. I was going to do a live feed for you guys, but it's Friday morning and most of you guys are at work, I'm sure. I work a schedule of 4/10, so I only work Monday through Thursday, so I always have Fridays off, and it's the best day to get stuff done. So here we go, on our way to the Shop Inc. You guys have been there before when we dynoed Chad, the owner's Corvette, so it'll look familiar to you guys. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Chad's an awesome guy. He's die-hard racer, supports a lot of events around here, supports my event, my race car, you know. Go check him out. We'll see you guys on the road. We made it. We made it. We made it. It's not a far trip. It's only it's probably 45 minutes or so. Real dusty, real dusty. Getting the oil heated up. I'm a firm believer in heating your oil up before you start every engine, but that's just me. Try to take care of my stuff, and it takes care of me. So here we go. So something I didn't film between these two scenes here was mass chaos. I haven't gotten comfortable enough filming bad stuff, even though bad stuff does happen, and if I was filming, I would put it in the video. You guys know that. You saw that in some of the other videos too, where the car fell off the scales and stuff like that. But I was out here by myself getting the car out of the trailer and stuff like that, so there wasn't somebody there to really film what happened. But basically, it was sort of cold out, but not cold enough to where the car wouldn't start. Normally, this thing starts no problem. You know, a little bit of extended crank on the first time in the morning, and that's it. And from there on out, it starts every time, obviously. But this time was different. I got the car out of the trailer. Well, obviously warmed the oil up like you guys saw. Pretty normal procedure for me. Warm it up to about 150 degrees and start it up. Didn't start this time. A mistake that I made was when you guys saw I put on that new Motion Icon throttle body, I removed the IAC in the process also. Got an IAC block off plate and everything was dandy. I didn't ever start the car after that. In the videos you guys saw it running, it had my old throttle body on there, you know, the silver Nick Williams that I had, and after I got the car running, I noticed it had a bent and broken throttle shaft. It was cracked right in the middle, and you know, that's when I got one of the Motion ones. Well, I don't start my car for any reason unless it's go time, really. I don't start it to put it in the trailer. The only times I ever start it to get it out of the trailer is if it's already warmed up and everything. But normally I am pushing it in and out of the trailer all the time. I don't like running it, you know, it wears out the valve springs. The valve springs, in my opinion, don't have run counts on them. They have heat cycles. So every time you warm them up, that's one cycle. And These valve springs are pretty heavy duty. I usually change them about every 50 runs or 50 heat cycles. So either way, I don't ever start the car up for no reason, and it bit me in the butt this time. I sat outside Chad's shop and cranked and tried to spray brake clean and cranked, and it was so close to starting several times that I thought it was going to start. Well, the throttle blade was nearly shut. If the IAC was hooked up, or if I had the IAC installed, it probably would have started, because that would have allowed extra airflow to go in, but I missed that step. Honestly, it's my mistake, and that's it. It's nothing that Motion does different than what they normally do. So I didn't know, but it was basically flooding the motor the whole time when I was cranking it. I normally, my car starts without giving it gas or anything, so I wasn't. I mean, it was normal procedures as I do, besides the throttle blade was not set properly of how I was intending to use it. No IAC, and needed a little bit more airflow than what it had. And so it sat out there, and I killed the battery and killed the starter. And finally I went inside and got Chad and was like, hey, we got to push this thing in. Battery's dead and it won't start. Don't know why at that time. So eventually we about 45 minutes later, the battery was charged up, and we go to crank it, and it sounds horrible. It won't crank very fast. It's cranking about 80 to 90 RPM, which normally it cranks about 230-ish, 200, and it was nowhere near that. And so I thought I hurt something, or I don't know. We even pulled the spark plugs out of it to obviously get excess fuel out of the motor, and crank it over several times like that too before we even tried to start it also. And come to find out, starter was burned up. Luckily, Chad had been building a twin turbo big block down at the end of his shop, and we stole the starter off of it and put it on there, and night and day difference. It started up a little bit flooded, but no harm, no foul after that, obviously. And so then you see this next scene that you'll see, we started making pulls.
I need to, when you get them old straps to it. I didn't know, yeah, that's what it's called.
So first pull went pretty good, pretty normal. As you saw, it still had a little bit of extended cranking to start up, and just gotta get the motor cleaned out after the abuse I put it through trying to get it started the first thing in the morning. But another thing I wanted to note, you guys will notice the smoke. This motor doesn't have any valve seals, so that's a pretty normal thing. You don't see it at the racetrack doing that because it's not sitting there stationary. The wind and stuff mixes with the smoke and you just don't notice. So it's nothing to worry about. The smoke will actually get better and better as the day goes on. It'll get less smoky, and it's obviously not something that it does under wide open throttle. It's only on decel because the engine is in its highest vacuum, so it is literally sucking oil through those valve guides from the oil sitting in on top of the heads and just going down the valves and out the exhaust. It's nothing out of the ordinary, so don't be alarmed. So another pretty normal pull, you'll hear it go whoom, whoom, whoom towards the end. I didn't have a set of radials to dyno on, so I was dynoing on a set of slicks, which honestly is the worst thing to do, and it was already starting to spin on the dyno. Now, I don't think I videoed the part. We ended up moving the car on the actual rollers, so what Chad and I have found that if you're sitting directly on top of the roller, you're getting the least amount of traction, whereas when you move the tire, I don't know how to explain this, when you move the tire off the 12 o'clock position to around the 10 o'clock position on the roller, the car will actually dig into the roller a lot harder and hook a little bit better. Although now that the slicks have spun on the dyno, they create these feathers on the slicks, and you'll see in these next pulls that it struggles to have traction from here on out. So something that you guys noticed, Chad's back there spraying the tires with belt dressing is what Chad likes to use to actually allow the tires to hook a little bit better. Usually works out pretty good, and this time it wasn't working very well. I mean, the slicks were just not the tire of choice to dyno on. Although a lot of cars I tune come on slicks and it works out well, but when you get in these higher horsepower numbers, it just doesn't hold very well. I know there are dynos out there that have a strap that actually pulls down on the rear end, but we don't have that here. And so traction was just tough to come by. But overall, as you guys will see, the dyno did go pretty well. All right, well, how did our day go, Chad? First of all, we didn't film much because it was a bad day.
It's race car stuff sometimes, right?
So, starting out, push my car out of the trailer like normal. I go to start it up, doesn't start. Now, methanol stuff, when it's this cold out, well, cold in the morning. It's pretty warm out here, but we're both in sweatshirts now because it's a little windy, but didn't start. Drained the battery to nothing. I mean, just terrible day.
Just crank and crank and crank.
Yeah, it was bad. Gas was coming out the exhaust like none other, and it was bad. So I was very, very flustered. Right, Chad?
Yes, you were. For
very.
Sure. Joey's normally not like, normally it's A, B, C, D, E. Like,
normally I'm extremely prepared. It goes what I want it to, and
yeah, he was expecting to come in at 9 o'clock, dyno, be off the dyno by 10.
Yes, yes. We didn't even get the car pushed in here until 10 something.
Right, yeah.
And I have a customer car on the dyno that was waiting on us very nicely, though. Either way, we got the car fired up, and it sounded bad. Sounded bad.
Running bad. Yeah,
lot of growling, and we'll come to find out, I burned up the starter. $300, $400 starter. The Bendix was stuck out and never retracting, and it was making horrible.
It was not good noises.
It was making horrible noises.
Yeah.
So I thought the motor was bad, and it was not a good day. But in the end,
I should have been videoing it all. 'Cause
No.
it would have made good
No.
YouTube content. But
I haven't learned yet. I haven't gotten comfortable enough yet to video the terrible things, especially when it's just me and Chad here. We're concentrated on race cars and
Fixing stuff.
not videoing, and that's just sometimes how it is. I mean, but it ended up being a good day. We made some runs, made some power, 4 digits. I mean, nothing extravagant. Mainly, I came here to break the motor in, and that was it, and make sure it ran. Well, first of all, it didn't run when we got here, so it was very bad. But we unloaded off the dyno. It's
no leaks.
No, didn't leak a
Everything's
drop.
Super dry.
Didn't leak a drop. Well,
Everything
I
functioned.
put the oil pan on this time, so a lot of silicone.
A lot of silicone.
Lot-
You need to on those, otherwise
Big
they'll
blocks.
dump everywhere.
Big blocks. You better invest in black silicone. Lots of it, and it's the best. So we got off the dyno, tested out 2-step, tested out a dry burnout. Did it do a burnout?
Very well.
Very well. Big block, life. So, no big deal at all there. And now, depending on this other car's dyno session, I might head to the track to do some testing. The road course at I-29 isn't really similar to what I feel like Bradenton is, so I'm just going there to kind of get things dialed in and close of where I feel like it needs to, because honestly, last year, every surface I raced on was a 4-second surface,
Right?
you know,
You need to get some data.
and now I got to slow it down to 5 somethings, mid to low 5s. I mean, we got to start somewhere, so maybe 6, I don't know. And what tune-up that is, I have no idea. I have no idea.
But I also have no doubt you'll figure it out.
Oh, Jesus.
Pretty
so-
quickly, I'm sure.
But I got to get out there and start trying. So, got 3 sets of tires to, well, 2 sets to wear out, 1 set for Florida.
I just think it'd be cool to see the butthurt bar back in action.
Tell me what you guys think. Butthurt bar is awesome or meh? What do you guys think? Down in the comments. Otherwise, big shout out to Chad again. If you guys haven't seen his video of his Corvette, check that out.
Breaking.
Otherwise, check out The Shop Inc. He's out here in Lincoln, Nebraska. If you guys are in the area, he's lots of repair work. Nice little Cobra there. They're building a tube chassis car on the end. Twin turbo big block in that thing, huh?
Big block.
Whoo! So he actually has 2 buildings, so a lot going on at once. Check him out. Otherwise, thank you, Chad, again. You're the best.
Anytime, buddy.